What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Make Money and Have Fun show. Today, I'm super excited. We have a really cool guest coming out here. He's actually a really good friend of mine, Mr. Ramsey Coulter, a credit expert. We're going to be talking all about credit in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I want to talk to all of you. So the really cool thing about this show, as you can see, I got a whole new scenery going on. I'm in a whole new place today. I'm actually at my girlfriend's house, had a little work going on at my house, so I had to come chill here. And we got dogs in the other room that might be barking. We got stuff that's going on. So I want to establish a rule for this show starting today, but really going forward. And that rule is super simple. Be cool. Be cool with whatever happens. If there's construction happening, if there's dogs barking in the background, whatever it is. I was just talking to Ramsey. He's backstage here waiting to get started. And we were talking about it's 2020 now, and all this stuff is happening live. We got homeschooling going on. We got, people working from home, all this kinds of stuff happening. And it really allows us the opportunity to expand like I've done with this show, and also to learn how to overcome these distractions and these things that happen. So on that note, let's keep on going here and let's get into this thing. So there's a couple ways to interact with Ramsey and to ask Ramsey questions throughout this event today. As you know, the first way is to just write your question into the comments. So if you're watching this from Facebook, if you're watching it from YouTube, wherever you are, if you put your question in the comments, I can actually bring it right up on screen, just like this. So pop right up on screen. We can ask your question live, or something else that's really cool that you can do is you can actually text right over here this phone number. So this phone number here, 215-596-1515. So if you text the word Ramsey, right, text the word Ramsey to that phone number, I'm actually going to give you a little prompt here, to 215-596-1515, just like that. If you text that in, I can actually bring you on backstage with us, and you can come on live on camera to ask your question to Ramsey. So if you have a question that you want to ask him in person while we're on here, just text the word Ramsey, one word, Ramsey, to 215-596-1515, and you'll be able to jump on backstage with us, get that VIP access going on. You probably will have to authenticate yourself, just authenticate that you're a Facebook user or a YouTube user. And then once you do that, you're good to go. You can jump in with us, ask your question live. Or if not, like I said, just post it in the comments down below and let me know that you're ready to go. On that note, I want to introduce to you today's guest. Like I said before, he's a great friend of mine. But Ramsey, let me give you a little background on Ramsey Coulter, who he is, what he does, and all that kind of fun stuff. So over the past 13 years, Ramsey has been studying and continuously learning about credit scores, credit cards, credit reports, and everything to do with the credit industry. In fact, he's a certified credit expert and is also FCRA certified, which stands for the Fair Credit Reporting Act certified. He's been used in federal court as an expert witness. He's owned and operated Coulter Credit LLC for over 7 years, which is a local family-owned credit restoration company located in Exton, PA, and it has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. So let's bring on Mr. Ramsey Coulter. Get in here. What's up, Ramsey?
Not much. How you doing, Fred?
What's going on, man? How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Dude, I'm doing awesome, man. So it's funny. I actually just shaved my beard off for Halloween, and it seems like you're rocking it, man.
Yeah. It's growing back. It was bigger during quarantine, but I'm legally allowed at my office again, so that's good stuff.
That's funny. That's so funny, man. The office that you own, right?
Well, yeah, my office for my credit repair, yeah.
So funny. So
crazy.
Funny. Yeah, I need the haircut now. I remember when quarantine first started for me, my hair was like crazy long, longer than it's ever been. Now I need the haircut, but the beard's already gone. So
I'm getting
welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you, man. Let me ask you the question that I ask all of my guests to get us started.
Sure.
Is your story?
Sure. Okay, so I'll give the quick version. So I played football at Westchester University.
Okay.
I got injured during practice. I tore my shoulder. I had to have surgery. And long story short, right after I graduated, some medical bills showed up on my credit. I got alert from Credit Karma. And I was like, what the heck is this collection? I opened up Credit Karma. It was 2 little medical bills. And I figured, okay, whatever. I just got a car. I had a corporate job. No big deal. The school will take care of this. And they didn't. It took me almost a year to get these 2 little medical bills that I didn't owe off of my credit. And because it took so long, it kind of ticked me off.
I bet.
And so I started researching credit. I started listening to lawyers' podcasts about, what was it called? It was Michael Forbes, Esquire. He's an attorney that does the consumer defense line. So I started listening to his radio show, calling in, asking questions. Actually ended up becoming good friends with him. And he's helped over the years sue debt collectors and sue the credit bureaus. Also have a couple other attorneys that I work with a lot as well, because there's a lot of credit errors out there. And so, they sue the credit bureaus, banks, debt collectors for doing illegal things. And you don't pay anything to them. They charge the banks and credit bureaus, which is pretty awesome. But anyway, that's a side note. So I started learning about credit. And then, after a year, finally got the secondary insurance to pay for the medical bills. And the debt collector, I called them. I was like, hey, look, you got paid. I didn't owe this. You need to take this off my credit. And they were like, nope. And so I hung up and I talked to the president of the hospital. And I was like, look, I've had enough of this. You guys are ridiculous. I got you paid. You need to tell that collector to remove it, or I'm just going to get a lawyer involved and sue everybody. And it's magic happened when you say things like that. And so he was like, okay, fine, we'll take care of it. It'll be off your credit in 30 to 45 days. And boom, the next day it was gone. The next day. So I was just like, man, I didn't even owe this money. And they treated me like crap. How do they treat people who do owe this money? And so then I just started helping out friends. I just graduated college. I had a bunch of friends who, owed money on stupid stuff like Verizon or whatever, utility bills and stuff. And so I just started messing around, helping them out for free. And then people started calling, and I was like, here, throw me $50 or something, throw me 80, $100. And then I worked at a Medicaid and Medicare company. And so when the ACA went into full effect, the company I worked for went from close to 2,000 employees down to 800.
Wow.
And so over 6 months, they had layoff after layoff after layoff. Well, eventually I was one of those layoffs, maybe because they were watching me on Facebook start a company. I don't know. But either way, it worked out great. I got laid off and I started my own company then.
That's
I've been doing it part-time for like a year and a half. So
yeah. I love that. It's an interesting story because you and I, we both developed a bit of a knowledge and an education around credit.
Yeah.
But for me, it was more so out of pleasure, out of, this idea of growing my wealth and being able to find and access money very quickly.
Right.
For you, it came out of pain. It came out of this, like, what the heck? Why is everything crumbling down around me? And how can I get myself out of it? How can I fix it from there?
Yeah.
So I think that's super funny that's how it all got started for you and with you.
Yep.
So here's the thing that I see when it comes to credit. I believe firmly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the credit expert today, but I feel like people, the general population is misled when it comes to credit, and we're fed a lot of myths, right? We're taught to overemphasize things like credit scores. Credit scores is one of the most aggravating sources for me because a lot of people come to me and they're so sensitive about this thing.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on the way that credit is being taught to people, or lack thereof, rather?
Yeah. So it's crazy. And I mean, we have this conversation all the time, every week, every day, hundreds of times a month with potential clients. And, we always do free consultations. So we go over everything and we're like, look, people will call and be like, yeah, I know my credit score. And we're like, no, you don't. That's not how it works.
Yep.
A credit score is generated when you apply for credit, and it depends on which FICO model they're using.
Right. And you're not even, nobody has a credit score. Your credit report is scored. That's
right.
the funniest part.
Right. Yeah. It's literally just at that moment in time, boom, here's what it is. 2 minutes later, a collection could pop up and it's completely different score.
Sure. And then we can talk about scoring models and scoring weights and all these different ways of generating a score.
Yeah, they all have different variables and attributes, and it's pretty intense. I'd love to. I've talked to some of the people at FICO at some of the events I've gone to, and it's pretty crazy what they do. But anyway, so the question was about credit in general, credit scores, and so you got companies out there like Credit Karma that are just always advertising. And I don't know what they say, but like, you deserve to know your credit score, the score that nobody uses. Like, what do you mean? There are very little banks that use Vantage credit scores. There are some. Toyota Motor Credit. That's the only auto lender I know that if you check Credit Karma and go to a Toyota and finance through them, that's your exact score from TransUnion. That's the only one I know of. No mortgage companies in the world, in America, use Vantage credit scores, which are the free scores on Credit Karma, which are scores that were created by the credit bureaus to compete with FICO because the credit bureaus sell FICO scores. And they're like, hey, man, we're making billions of dollars for FICO over here. Like, why don't we compete? And so like 15 years ago, they created their own scores, and now they sell them. If you go to TransUnion or Equifax.com and sign up for their credit monitoring, you get Vantage scores, the scores you get for free on Credit Karma. But yeah, it's crazy. But and then Credit Karma is just an advertising platform. They make money off of everything. That's why it's free.
Sure.
You click a link, they get paid. You get denied, they get paid. You get approved, they get paid more. But anyway, sorry.
Well, how do you suggest people navigate around their credit score? Because for me, I always tell people, stop looking at your score like a trophy.
Yeah.
Start looking at it like a tool.
Yeah.
And I always use the analogy, just real quick before you answer the question, I always use the analogy that if you have a hammer, right, you can do a lot of damage with a hammer, right? You can murder somebody with it, you can hurt yourself or somebody else with it, or you can use a hammer to build a house.
Yep.
And when people start to understand that, they start to see that, like, oh, my whole life I've been competing to have the shiniest hammer hanging in my shed. Whereas my hammer is dirty, rusty, and jacked up, but I have $100,000 worth of available credit that I can use. I have this big house that I built with that hammer. So how do you kind of help people to navigate their credit scores?
Yeah, so the first thing is, don't pay attention to your score. Your score doesn't matter. It's the data that creates your score. That's what matters. And so, we have lots of clients, and we have score watchers, people who just watch their score, usually the free ones that are inaccurate. And every time it changes, we'll get an email, we'll get a call, and they'll say, hey, my score just went up 50 points. Thank you so much. And then the next day, oh, my score just went down 49 points. What's going on? I need to call, and stop being a score watcher. Okay, I get it. We deal with people all the time who their main goal is to buy a house. And so, of course, they're worried about their score. They're also worried about, is this company actually going to help me? I'm paying them money. How do I know I'm not getting ripped off? Blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, do your research. If you're going to work with a credit repair company, absolutely research them. Google, BBB, Facebook reviews, and you won't find any bad reviews about us as of right now, which is great.
I guess I'll have to add one.
Yeah. No, don't do that. But yeah, so, and the way you avoid bad reviews is you tell your clients what you're going to do, and you do it. You set reasonable expectations, and you do it. Like, you don't lie.
Interview's done. Thanks, guys.
You don't overpromise. You don't tell people you can get everything deleted, because that's usually not the case. But it's about education. And so that's credit is about knowing how to play the game, because it is a game. It's a debt system. It's a debt cycle. I do agree with that part of Dave Ramsey's stuff. It is a debt score, 100%. You don't need to be in debt to have a debt score. You can have one or two credit cards, barely ever use them, not have any loans, and have a great score. So, he tells people not to use it, but it's anyway. Yeah. I know that you use it a lot. I know that Larry uses it a lot. I have a lot of credit cards. I tell people to do as I say and not as I do. I have a few $100,000 in available credit cards.
Sure.
And most people should never do that. Most people.
I think like you said, you hit the nail on the head when you said it depends on what your goals are.
Yeah.
So, I talk to people often and I'm like, I have a couple $100,000 on credit cards. Would you like to have the same? And they're like, no, not really. And at first I was like, what do you mean? And then I realized that people have different goals.
It's scary too.
Some people just want to buy a house, or they just want to, work that 9 to 5. For me, I'm a real estate investor and I'm a business owner. So having access to cash to build new businesses, to pay for educations, assets, and coaches, and all these different things that I'm able to then arbitrage makes total sense for me. But someone who's working a 9 to 5 job behind a desk somewhere, it's like, what the heck am I going to do with a couple extra $100,000 besides burn myself with it?
Yeah, except getting big, file bankruptcy.
For instance, I just had a conversation recently with someone who dabbles in real estate, but they're not a professional real estate investor like I am. Yep. The first business I ever built was a real estate investing business, and they asked me when they're screening tenants to bring in a tenant in a rental unit, they asked me, what's your lowest credit score that you'll allow? And I told them the same thing you said. I said, I don't really knock it off at any point. They could have a 420 credit score. What I look at is why. Why is that credit score the way it is? Did they just go through a divorce?
Yep.
That's fine. They can rent my house all they want if they went through a divorce, but they pay all their bills on time.
Right. Now,
if they have a 420 credit score because they have 18 collections or 18 payments in collection, derogatories, and debt collectors knocking down their door, now I'm not going to approve them. Even if they had a 650, I wouldn't approve them because I can see the trend. I can see the patterns with it. And so let's kind of move. So we talked about credit scores, but let's kind of move into credit cards now.
Sure.
A little bit. So this is where I love credit cards. I love credit cards because I understand assets and I understand arbitrage. And arbitrage, real quick, my simple definition for arbitrage is if you spend 3, you make 6 with arbitrage. That's basically how it works. I spent $3 to make $6. That's arbitrage. Right? And so with credit cards, what I love to do is I love to buy assets, and I also have basically a built-in emergency fund with credit cards as well. But what are your feelings on credit cards? I love credit cards. What about you?
Yeah, so what we tell people all the time is, look, if you care about your credit, you need a credit card. That's step one. You need to have a credit card. You need to properly utilize or use it. We deal with a lot of people in Philly. Some people are, old school, cash only, and they're like, look, I want to buy a house. I don't want a credit card. And I'm like, cool. You need a credit card if you want to have a good credit score. The word credit's in it. It's the most important thing for your credit score. I don't care if you get 1 or 2 and then you buy a house and close them later. If you want to be boring, go ahead. I don't care. But I love credit cards too. I have a ton of credit cards.
Sure.
I use rewards points. We get tons of free nights at hotels every year. We get, thousands of rewards, cash back, all this stuff, 0% offers all the time. My Discover card and I don't know if I should say this, but Discover allows you to do a to do a 0% balance transfer right into your bank account. One of the very few credit cards that actually lets you do a balance transfer to your bank account. And so, bought a house the other year, dropped $20,000 from my credit card into my bank account, paid 0% interest for 15 months, paid it off before that 15 months. And all I paid was a transfer fee. And I got $20,000, to fix it up and do everything I needed to do.
Yeah.
Pay contractors, all that stuff. So that's how you play the game right. I don't recommend everybody do that, but
I think you need to know what you're doing ahead of time. Build the foundation first, and then once you figure out this money game, like for me, I went hog wild. In 12 months, I 20x'd my credit limit, which was just insanity.
Yeah.
And so, and then now I'm utilizing a lot of it, so my scores kind of leveled out a little bit. I beat it up in a sense, but that's the whole point of having the money, in my opinion. Again, I always look at, for me, a big thing when it comes to money is looking at accumulation versus cash flow.
Yeah.
And accumulation is where most of America plays. They're competing to have the biggest toolbox sitting in their shed. If I have $10,000 in my savings account and you have 5, I'm more successful financially than you are, is the mentality of America.
Yeah.
But for me, I'd rather have $1,000 in my bank account and $9,000 out in the field working for me, deploying that money to build me cash flow and to build me assets that are growing my equity, my intrinsic value and my monthly nut as well.
Yep.
Is basically the idea with it. So let's say that someone's on the opposite, right? Someone comes in and they don't have any credit knowledge at all, and they need your help to kind of repair their credit. Where would you suggest someone kind of starts in terms of repairing their credit, building their credit, and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, we always do a free consultation. So it just doesn't make sense for people not to call and literally do a free consultation. They pay $1, not to us, to a credit monitoring. We get to see everything. If they have no credit, we're going to give them a bunch of free info and charge them nothing. We're going to ask them to go write a Google review or something like that, or share us on Facebook. But that's all we charge, right? And it's not a charge. We have people who call us all the time, who we just tell them what to do. We look at your credit and we say, hey, look, you have nothing. You have your name and your address on your credit report. That's it. Or maybe you have one stupid little medical bill for like $50 or $100 that you forgot about, or something small. And we'll look at that and we'll say, look, here's what you need to do. We're going to send you a bunch of like 2 or 3 accounts to open. Secured credit card is number one. So secured credit card, it's your own money. You give the bank $200. They give you a credit card. There's not even a hard inquiry for the main one that we use. Self-lender is a credit builder loan. It's not really a loan. You're lending money to yourself. You pay $25, $48 a month. They report that you're paying a loan on time. And at the end of it, their middle package is $48 a month. I think it's $18 to start, $48 a month. And after a year, you've paid $576 and you get a check back for $535. So you're saving money and you're building your credit. And we'll give you that info for free. We'll give you the links. We'll make it so easy. We just email it to you. Yeah, like 1, 2, 3, and then there's like an online store credit card that basically approves everybody for a $5,000 limit. You can only use it on their website. Yeah, it's crap that you buy. You just buy it one time, $100 worth of their stuff. It's not about what they have to sell, and it's just to have a $5,000 limit. So when people call us and they have a couple $1,000s in credit card debt, and their only problem is high utilization, they're utilizing or using more, or the max, right? Let's say they have 2,000 available, or their balances are 2,000 and their limits are 2,000. They're maxed out. They're at 100%. They open up this $5,000 credit card, and boom, they go from 100% utilization to 20 or whatever, 25, 30. And not instantly, but within 30 days when it shows up on their credit, they could go from a 600 to a 650 or 660, or just saying. That's if they have no negatives.
That's the funniest thing. People are always worried when I tell them get more credit cards, because they say, oh, won't my score go down because of the hard inquiries? And I say, no, if you get approved for the cards, your score is going to rocket up because your utilization ratio just went down. That was the coolest thing that I ever learned about credit, is that you can literally not spend a penny more towards your balances, but instead open up more lines of credit and more credit cards, which then makes your limits go up and your utilization ratio go down. It's fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. And depending who your credit card company is, you can always call them, or if you have an app, right? I do everything on the app. Request credit line increases all the time, every couple months. They say 6 months, but I mean, I ask Discover for more money like every 2 months.
Yep, me too.
And usually they approve it.
Best. I do that with my bank, and like every 2 months they're like, here's $5,000, here's $3,000, here's $6,000, here's $10,000. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And so it depends on who it is, but most credit card companies, more than 50% won't do a hard inquiry. Some will. American Express, Chase, Citibank, they do hard inquiries to see if they're going to approve you for more money, but Capital One doesn't. Almost all store credit cards don't. A lot of banks don't do hard inquiries, so there's nothing to lose. Discover does it. That's why I do it. Capital One, Discover, you can ask them every day for more money. Don't do that. That's stupid. But every month, every 2 months. And the worst case is they say no, and there's no damage to your credit. And the best case is they give you $5,000 more, and you're like,
yeah, right. I always say there's only three things that can happen. One, they say no, and after you're done crying for 2 hours, you apply for the next card. Two is they say yes, which is the best case scenario. Or three is they say yes, but for a lesser amount than what you asked for.
Right. Yeah.
Which is like, sorry, I'll take $5,000 instead of $10,000. I'm cool with that.
And most people are scared to ask for high limits. Most people are scared. Like, well, I just got approved. I've had clients call me and say, "Oh, my bank just called me and said they were going to increase me to $10,000," and I told them no. I'm like, why? Why would you call them back? Like, unless you have like a shopping problem or a gambling problem or something, you're bad with money, you're going to max that out. Then of course, don't do it. But if you have some self-control and take it.
yeah, exactly. I'm not a big fan or believer in store credit cards.
Yeah,
because I'm always thinking in terms of a zombie apocalypse, and I'm like, I can't buy food from Target, right? I think actually Target does sell food, but
yeah, they do. Walmart does too, but yeah,
Macy's is still around.
Kohl's, yeah. Macy's is still open, yeah.
Something like that.
I think JCPenney is filed for bankruptcy. I don't know.
So let me ask you this question: do you have a favorite credit card or line of credit?
Well, my Discover, yeah. For reasons I said earlier.
Sure. Discover is probably my second favorite, but you're making me lean more towards it being my first favorite now because I actually didn't know some of this stuff about Discover cards, which is cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. What's your number one? What's your favorite?
So my favorite is actually a line of credit. It's actually PayPal credit.
PayPal, huh? Okay.
Yeah. You familiar with it at all?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
PayPal credit is
it through Synchrony Bank, the PayPal line? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually hysterical because I have an eBay credit card and I have a PayPal credit card as well as PayPal credit. And the funniest thing was I read online, and this is probably false, because I proved it, that you can only have one or the other. You can only have a PayPal card or an eBay card. Gotcha. And I got both.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Who's eBay through? Is that like
Synchrony as well?
Synchrony as well. Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, so they're both Synchrony Bank.
I haven't used eBay in years. I have an Amazon line of credit, which is very high, which I like as well.
Sure.
Certain store cards you can get either MasterCards or Visa cards that you can use anywhere. So like, Amazon's one of them. They have either the just only Amazon or a MasterCard you can use everywhere. Visa card you can use everywhere. It's through Chase Bank. But it all depends. For business cards, my favorite is my Marriott's Rewards card.
Okay, I hear that a lot with business.
Yeah,
I actually haven't built too much business credit at this point. I've done mostly personal credit.
Yep,
because of where I'm at with my business and stuff like that. But I heard that Marriott's really a cool one. So if someone came to you and they were like, "Hey, I want to play the game that you played. I want to play the game that Fred played, and just blow up my credit," what's the first couple of cards you would recommend that they go and try to get?
Sure. So there's a free website called Credit Boards, and you can go there and check. Now, it's sometimes wrong. It also depends on where you live, believe it or not. So, for instance, certain credit cards, if you live in Pennsylvania, they might check TransUnion, whereas if you live in California, they might check Experian. Right. It all depends on your location when you apply, which is crazy. So you could always fly somewhere, apply for a credit card, be like, hey, But anyway, that's crazy. Cool. So, but generally speaking, you can go on Credit Boards and you can check, like for the state of Pennsylvania, and okay, hey, Wells Fargo, what bank do they check? Well, they check Experian, 98% of the time. Odds are they're going to check Experian. So if you have a great Experian score, so utilize the free resources out there. I just know this stuff because I've been doing it for years. Helped so many people get credit cards and stuff. But they're like certain banks only check 1, 2, or 3 credit bureaus. So right off the bat, I would tell you don't apply for Capital One right away. That would be lower on the list because Capital One will always check all 3 credit bureaus. Not a big deal, but if your left hand doesn't know what your right hand's doing and you're applying at, let's say, a bank like Wells Fargo or American Express, and they only check Experian, and then you apply for Navy Federal Credit Union, they only check Equifax, or Pentagon Federal Credit Union, they only check Equifax, and then you go to Synchrony Bank, they usually, now I have seen Synchrony Bank checking Equifax recently, but typically they check TransUnion, and what's that little credit union? Oh, I should know this. Anyway, it starts with a T. I should know this. TrueMark Credit Union only checks TransUnion. PNC only checks Experian. And so you can, apply strategically for credit cards and, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They all check different bureaus. They don't know what's going on. And now you got 6 credit cards open and 2 of them checked one, 2 of them checked the other, 2 of them checked the other. And they don't, they'll approve you. That's how you get, credit card stacking or whatever, or shotgun applying for credit cards is what some people call it.
Right.
And there's companies out there that will charge you to do that because they know strategically how to do what I just said. Usually it's for business credit stuff. Because you can cheat business credit, right? You can skip all the BS with business credit building if you have a good credit score. Then now you're personally guaranteeing those credit cards. Right. But if you have a good credit score, a 700 credit score, you can apply for a Hilton's Rewards card, personally guarantee it, but it's in your business name. It will never show up on your personal credit unless you default. Right. Same with Chase, and so you don't have to do the net 30-day accounts, and you can skip that. You can. I mean, I know you know about business credit and how to do it the right way, and of course you should do that too. But you can skip that. It's not fun building business credit. You got to get a Uline account and a Quill account, and
right? DUNS number and all that fun stuff.
And it takes a while, and blah blah blah. It's just like, let's just skip that. But you have to have good credit to be able to skip that. Right. And you have to trust in your business that you're not going to fail because other's you're personally guaranteeing it.
Well, that's what keeps you in business too, right? If it was easy, you wouldn't have a job right now.
Yeah. Credit's complex, man. It's and like you were saying earlier, there's so many different scores. There's so many different scoring models. FICO has over 68 scoring models just for FICO, right? So there's over 8 or 9 auto industry scores and mortgage scores and credit card scores.
Right. And then you got to match the model with the weight and the version and like
it's intense. And that's why you never know your credit score. It always depends on what you're applying for and what lender is using, what version, which credit bureau. I know my Equifax is always my highest. It's always my highest score by a good bit. And so when I want a lot of stuff, like when I want a car loan, I go to a bank that only checks Equifax and I get the best rates.
I love it. So we actually got a couple of questions that came in here. So Bill was asking about American Heritage. Do you know what bureau American Heritage reports?
Yeah, usually Experian. So American Heritage Credit Union. Yeah, a lot of the Philadelphia credit unions for some reason use Experian. So Police and Fire uses Experian. American Heritage uses Experian. What are the other ones down there? Philadelphia Credit Union uses Experian. So just an FYI.
Gotcha. And then we got one more. Emilio needs some help. So I'm actually going to edify you here. So Emilio said, I want to learn more about business credit. Is this what you do? Help others? And I'm going to say that personally, Ramsey is like my go-to credit guy. If I have questions about credit, I'm calling Ramsey up. And in fact, he and I even created a little bit of a business partnership earlier this year where he's going to, help some people with credit repair, and then I can help them blow everything up. So I would definitely recommend you. Ramsey, would you recommend yourself?
Yeah, probably.
That's a little biased, though, don't you think?
I thought there was no pitching on this.
I don't know if this counts as pitching or not.
Well, yeah, they asked for help, but yeah.
As long as there's no chop method at the end of this with like the cross outs and, for today only, then we're good at that point.
Yeah, and it's the same with business credit. We'll do a free consultation. We'll, no problem. We'll give you homework, right? We'll give you the first steps, and I'll tell you for free what to do. Start with getting a DUNS number. You can apply for free at Dun & Bradstreet. Google free DUNS number. You don't have to pay the $500 that they call you and say, hey, you need to pay us $500 to get a DUNS number. It's like, no, actually I can do it for free. So that's the first step. You need a DUNS number to have a business credit score. Well, first of all, you need a business. You need a corporation. You can do a sole proprietorship for business credit. It's just way better if it's an LLC. Even if it's just a single member LLC, that's fine. An S corp, incorporation, whatever. So have a corporation because it's called corporate credit. So you should have a corporation other than yourself, and then get a DUNS number, and then set up a free account with nav.com. Mm-hmm. It's like Credit Karma for business credit. It does show your personal credit scores too, Vantage scores. It actually shows Experian, which is newer Vantage. But anyway, and then eventually you'll upgrade to their premium membership so that once you have a couple accounts, it usually takes at least 30 days to have business credit. Yes, I have an LLC. Awesome. Then go to Dun & Bradstreet. Google free DUNS number, free DUNS DUNS number. That's the first step.
Perfect. Yeah. Ramsey, this has been awesome stuff, my man. I'm geeking out again. I'm going to go apply for some more credit cards after I hang up with you. I love it.
Nice.
So what kind of words of wisdom would you want to leave everybody with before we go?
Yeah, sure. So,
and how can they contact you?
So learn the game, right? Learn how credit works. And know the rules, right? There's the FICO 5. You can Google the FICO 5, how your credit score is created. Know it, apply it, monitor your credit, watch it. If you don't have a credit card, open up a credit card. If you need help, give us a call for a free consultation. And we can take a look, see what's going on. Especially if you want to buy a house, that's what we specialize in. We help hundreds of people every year buy houses. So we'd love to help you. If that's you watching this that wants to buy a house, but your credit's bad, we can help you. More than likely, we can help you. Hey, Angel, what's going on, man?
I love it. Randy, awesome stuff.
Yeah, they can. So how can they contact us? They can give us a call at 610-350-4683. That's our office number. We're open 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you need it earlier or later, we can schedule it. And we're here. We're here all the time. So give us a call, and we'll do a free consultation.
That's right?
Yep, 610-350-4683. Yep, that's our office line. We're here.
Damn.
Yep.
I love it. Ramsey, you are the best. Thanks so much for doing this, man. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, absolutely. I love doing things like these, man. These are great. It's awesome.
Yeah, this is fun stuff. I mean, for me, this is really just a fun thing. I'm not making any money off of this. I'm not doing anything like that, but I'm having a blast doing these things, bringing on cool people. Here we got a little testimonial for you. Ramsey is the truth, man. Trust this guy, does wonders. All right. We'll pay you the money we owe you after this show.
Yeah, right. You get a discount on your
Yeah, we'll send you your check. In fact, it's in the mail right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, geez. Awesome. This is great stuff, man. Yeah. Thanks so much for being here, Ramsey. We're going to have to see you again real soon, man.
Nope. Let me know when.
You got it. All right, guys. That's it for today. Remember to keep making money and having fun. See you, everybody.
Thanks.